Welcome back to Heaven Sent Bible Quizzes. Today we explore the life of one of Scripture's boldest prophets, Elijah. From confronting King Ahab to calling down fire on Mount Carmel, Elijah's story is filled with courage and miracles. In this 25-question challenge, we'll follow his journey from his showdown with Baal's prophets to his fiery chariot ride into heaven. And make sure you make it to the very end so you can attempt today's amazing bonus question. Are you ready to test your knowledge and be inspired by a man who trusted God completely? Then let's get started. Question 1. Who was Elijah according to the Bible? A. A prophet of the Lord from Tishbe. B. A priest serving in Jerusalem. Or C. A king of Israel. The answer is A. A prophet of the Lord from Tishbe. Elijah was one of Israel's greatest prophets, confronting kings and calling people back to God. His boldness confronting Ahab about Israel's idolatry and wickedness shows the authority God gave him. 1 Kings 17 verse 1. Question 2. After Elijah told King Ahab that no rain would fall in Israel for years, where did God first tell him to stay? A. At the house of a widow. B. By the brook Cherith. Or C. In the wilderness near Beersheba. The answer is B. By the brook Cherith. During the God-sent drought and famine, Elijah was sustained there as ravens brought him bread and meat morning and evening, and he drank from the brook. 1 Kings 17 verse 2-6. Question 3. After the brook dried up and Elijah stayed with the widow during the famine, what miracle did God perform in her home? A. Her jar of flour and jug of oil never ran out. B. Her husband was healed of leprosy. Or C. Her vineyard produced an abundant harvest. The answer is A. Her jar of flour and jug of oil never ran out. God kept her supplies full each day, providing for Elijah, the widow, and her household until he sent rain upon the land. 1 Kings 17, verse 8-16. Question 4. When the widow's son died, what did Elijah do that brought him back to life? A. He laid his staff upon the boy. B. He anointed the boy with oil. Or C. He laid on the child and prayed to the Lord. The answer is C. He laid on the child and prayed to the Lord. God heard Elijah's cry, and the boy's life returned to him. The widow then declared that Elijah truly was a man of God. 1 Kings 17, verse 21-22. Question 5. In the third year of the drought, God sent Elijah to confront King Ahab. What message did he carry? A. That Ahab would be struck with leprosy. B. That the famine would end and rain would return. Or C. That Jezebel would lose her throne. The answer is B. That the famine would end and rain would return. God told Elijah to show himself to Ahab, for he would send rain upon the earth. This fulfilled God's word after years of drought caused by Israel's idolatry. 1 Kings 18 verse 1. Question 6. On his way to meet Ahab, Elijah encountered Obadiah. What was Obadiah known for doing? A. Hiding 100 prophets in caves. B. Building an altar in Jerusalem. Or C. Rebuking Jezebel for her wickedness. The answer is A. Hiding 100 prophets in caves. Obadiah feared the Lord and secretly provided them with bread and water. This act preserved God's prophets during Jezebel's campaign to kill them. 1 Kings 18 verse 3-4. Question 7. At Mount Carmel, how many prophets of Baal did Elijah confront? A. 200, B. 450, or C. 700? The answer is B. 450. Elijah challenged the prophets of Baal before the people of Israel to prove who was the true God. The people witnessed that Baal's prophets were many, but powerless. 1 Kings 18 verse 22. Question 8. What unusual challenge did Elijah give the prophets of Baal to test whose God was real? A. To call down rain from heaven. B. To heal a sick man publicly. Or C. To send fire upon a sacrifice. The answer is C. To send fire upon a sacrifice. The God who answered by fire would be shown to be the true God. This challenge revealed God's unmatched power over false gods. 1 Kings 18 verse 24. Question 9. How did the prophets of Baal try to get their God's attention? A. By chanting and fasting for days. B. By shouting and cutting themselves with swords. Or C. By offering their children as sacrifices. The answer is B. By shouting loudly and cutting themselves with swords. They raved from morning until evening, but no one answered. Their frenzy proved Baal was powerless to respond. 1 Kings 18, verse 28-29. Question 10. Before calling on the Lord at Mount Carmel, what did Elijah have poured over his altar? A. Water. B. Wine. Or C. Olive oil. The answer is A. Water. Elijah had the sacrifice, wood and stones drenched 3 times until water filled the trench. This made it impossible to ignite naturally, proving God's fire was miraculous. 1 Kings 18 verse 33-35. Question 11. How did the Lord answer Elijah's prayer on Mount Carmel? A. Fire fell from heaven and consumed the sacrifice. B. Thunder shook the mountain. Or C. Rain immediately poured down. The answer is A. Fire fell from heaven and consumed the sacrifice. The fire burned the offering, the wood, the stones, the dust, and licked up the water in the trench. The people fell on their faces and cried, "The Lord, He is God." 1 Kings 18 verse 38. Question 12. After the people saw the fire fall, what did Elijah command concerning the prophets of Baal? A. That they be imprisoned. B. That they be executed. Or C. That they be banished from Israel. The answer is B. that they be executed. Elijah said, "Seize the prophets of Baal, let not one of them escape." This judgment removed false prophets leading Israel astray. 1 Kings 18 verse 40. Question 13. After Mount Carmel, Elijah prayed for rain. How many times did his servant look toward the sea before a small cloud appeared? A. 7, B. 3, or C. 10? The answer is A. 7. On the seventh time the servant saw a little cloud rising like a man's hand. The cloud grew until a heavy rain ended the drought. 1 Kings 18, verse 43 to 44. Are you as fascinated by Elijah's story as I am? If so, take this moment to hit the like button so YouTube will share it with as many Christians as possible. Thank you for your support. Now let's continue. Question 14. When Jezebel threatened Elijah's life, what did he do? A. He boldly confronted her. B. He hid in the temple. Or C. He fled into the wilderness. The answer is C. He fled into the wilderness. Fearful of Jezebel's threat, Elijah went a day's journey into the desert and prayed for death. His despair showed his humanity despite God's mighty works through him. 1 Kings 19 verse 3 to 4. Question 15. What did God provide for Elijah under the broom tree in the wilderness? A. Manna from heaven. B. Bread baked on hot stones and water. Or C. Quail for meat. The answer is B. Bread baked on hot stones and water. An angel of the Lord woke Elijah, and there at his head was a cake baked on hot stones and a jar of water. After eating, he lay down again, and the angel returned a second time with the same provision. 1 Kings 19, verse 5 to 7. Question 16. On Mount Horeb, in what way did God reveal himself to Elijah? A. In a powerful earthquake. B. In a blazing fire. Or C. In a gentle whisper. The answer is C. In a gentle whisper. The Lord was not in the wind, earthquake, or fire, but in the low whisper that followed. This showed God's presence is often in stillness, not force. 1 Kings 19, verse 11 to 12. Question 17. After Mount Horeb, God told Elijah to anoint a prophet in his place. Who was this? A. Elisha. B. Samuel. Or C. Nathan. The answer is A. Elisha. Elijah cast his cloak upon Elisha, who left his oxen to follow him. This act symbolized the passing of prophetic authority. 1 Kings 19, verse 16 to 19. Question 18. What did Elijah say to King Ahab after he seized Naboth's vineyard? A. That Jezebel would prosper for her deed. B. That disaster would come upon his house. Or C. That his kingdom would last forever. The answer is B. That disaster would come upon his house. Elijah declared that dogs would lick up Ahab's blood in the very place where dogs licked Naboth's blood. This prophecy was fulfilled later in Ahab's death. 1 Kings 21 verse 19. Question 19. When King Ahaziah fell and was injured, to whom did he send messengers to inquire about his recovery? A. To the priests in Jerusalem. B. To prophet Elisha. Or C. To Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron. The answer is C. To Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron. God sent Elijah to confront the king, asking why he sought Baal-zebub instead of the Lord. This revealed Ahaziah's rejection of the true God. 2 Kings 1 verse 2-3. Question 20. When soldiers were sent to seize Elijah, what happened to the first two groups? A. They were struck with blindness. B. Fire from heaven consumed them. Or C. They fell into a pit. The answer is B. Fire from heaven consumed them. Twice Elijah called down fire from heaven that destroyed 50 men and their captain. This displayed God's power to protect his prophet. 2 Kings 1 verse 10-12. Question 21. How did the third captain approach Elijah differently from the first two? A. He brought a bribe. B. He begged for his life humbly. Or C. He promised to protect Elijah from Ahaziah. The answer is B. He begged for his life humbly. The angel of the Lord then told Elijah to go with him safely. Humility spared the third group from judgment. 2 Kings 1 verse 13-15. Question 22. Before Elijah was taken up, he and Elisha visited several places. What was the last river they crossed together? A. The Jordan. B. The Euphrates. Or C. The Kishon. The answer is A. The Jordan. Elijah struck the water with his cloak, and the river parted for them to cross on dry ground. This miracle echoed God's earlier parting of the Red Sea and Jordan. 2 Kings 2 verse 7-8. Question 23. What request did Elisha make of Elijah before he was taken up? A. To inherit his house and land. B. To be made king of Israel. Or C. To receive a double portion of his spirit. The answer is C. To receive a double portion of his spirit. Elisha sought a greater measure of the prophetic spirit Elijah carried. Elijah told him it would be granted if he saw him taken. 2 Kings 2 verse 9. Question 24. How did Elijah finally leave this earth? A. By dying in his sleep. B. By being stoned by his enemies. Or C. By being taken up to heaven in a whirlwind. The answer is C. By being taken up to heaven in a whirlwind. As they went on and talked, a chariot of fire with horses separated them, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. This unique departure showed God's favor on Elijah's life. 2 Kings 2 verse 11. Question 25. After Elijah was taken, what convinced the sons of the prophets that Elisha carried his spirit? A. He healed a blind man. B. He parted the Jordan with Elijah's cloak. Or C. He called down fire from heaven again. The answer is B. He parted the Jordan with Elijah's cloak. When Elisha struck the waters and they parted, the prophets recognized that the spirit of Elijah rested on him. This confirmed Elisha as Elijah's prophetic successor. 2 Kings 2 verse 13 to 15. Bonus question. After the contest on Mount Carmel with the prophets of Baal and the coming of rain, what extraordinary act of strength did Elijah perform? A. He defeated Ahab's guards in battle. B. He outran King Ahab's chariot to Jezreel. Or C. He climbed Mount Carmel 3 times. The answer is B. He outran King Ahab's chariot to Jezreel. During the heavy rain, the Lord gave Elijah supernatural strength, and he ran nearly 20 miles ahead of Ahab's horses and chariot, all the way to the entrance of Jezreel. This act showed that God's prophet went before the king, leading the way under divine power. 1 Kings 18 verse 45 to 46. Well done! You've completed the Elijah Bible quiz. Well, how did you do on the bonus question? Are you amazed at the great strength and stamina God gave to Elijah? Let us know in the comments when you post your result. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe, and share this quiz with family and friends. Remember, just like Elijah, we too can stand strong when we put our trust and faith in the Lord. Thank you for your support, and may God continue to bless you and everyone you love.